Lucas Schiff, clad in improvised armor, answered the knock on the dormitory door. Cornelia, a pleasure. You'll be wanting Gregory, I suppose. Oi! He barked over his shoulder to another boy. Tell Thane his lady's here. Want to come in? Cornelia shook her head. No thank you, she managed to whisper. Lucas looked at her afresh. What's he done? I'll kill him if you want. Cornelia laughed, choked, and started to cry, shaking her head again. Lucas swore, sorry, do come in. She offered no resistance as he escorted her to a pile of overturned furniture that had been serving as a barricade. He righted a table and 2 chairs. The lobby's militant occupants caught sight of the crying girl and fled in silent panic, emptying the room in seconds. It was only a moment more before Gregory appeared. Lucas yielded his seat and made himself scarce after a hasty whispered conference. Cornelia did her best to collect herself. Gregory moved his chair to her side of the table and put his arm around her shoulders. Cornelia, what's wrong? I have to go home, she said when she was able. My father called. He found out my uncle was here. I've been so stupid. Meanwhile, in the hallway on the floor above, Lucas was conducting a swift and methodical series of raids. Tea, requisition order, urgent business. Cheers. Give me your tea, it's urgent. Chocolate? Excellent. Cheers. Oh no, you nitwit, you've eaten these. Come on, it's for an elegant female. Fine. That'll do. Tea, urgent, weepy girl. Ah. He paused to sniff a half-full bottle of whiskey offered him. Just the thing. Thanks very much. Tea, requisition order on behalf of an elegant female. Well, what have you got? He hates your uncle that much? Cornelia winced. It's not just that. He doesn't understand that I'm safe with him. He doesn't understand, Gregory repeated. What reason does he have for thinking your uncle would hurt you? He thinks he's dangerous. Of course he's dangerous. He's an elder mage and he's terrifying. But why would he hurt you? He wouldn't. Then why did your father think he would? Cornelia closed her eyes and fought to get each word out. My uncle has been fighting for the dragons. You didn't know that. I did, actually. Gregory let out a long sigh. He leaned his elbows on the table and put his head in his hands. I knew you were crazy, but you're really in it now, Cornelia. I know, and it's all my fault. You knew and you let him get close to you? Didn't you think for a second how risky that was? If he decided you were useful, you could have gone, he snapped his fingers, like that. And your father, the realm, you could have lost the whole damn war. Cornelia, you could have been dead. He wouldn't. You can't know that. I do know that. How? How can you possibly know? He loves me. Just because your father loves you doesn't mean everybody else does. In the doorway, Lucas dropped a box of cookies. Gregory turned and stared at Lucas. Lucas and Cornelia stared at Gregory. Cornelia swallowed. Her face went pale. I guess I'll go then. And she went, moving as if in a daze. Gregory watched, frozen. When she was gone, Lucas broke the silence. That was bloody brutal. Bang. What? Oh, hell. No, that's not what I meant. Oh, that's a relief, I guess. Not that I care, really. I'm not the elegant but broken-hearted girl you were formerly courting until you said you didn't love her. He gathered up the drop box of cookies. Gregory slid down deeper into his seat. That's not what I meant. He covered his face in his hands. Are you sure? Because if you're done courting her, Lucas ran his fingers recklessly through his hair. I think I might take a shot on catching her on the rebound. Gregory rose like a marionette from his chair. No, you ass, you will not. Then Lucas put a handful of cookies and a bottle of whiskey into Gregory's hands. Then on second thought took the bottle back. If your feet are out of your mouth, you might try running after her. She went, Lucas pointed at the door helpfully, that away. Gregory burst into a run. Cornelia, Gregory called her name as he ran down Queen's Lane towards the college gate. What passed for the warmth of the day in the early afternoon had drawn out what felt like crowds of pedestrians. Every few steps he leapt up, trying to get a better vantage, to catch a glimpse of her. He had guessed she was heading back to her house. But had she headed up to King's College to visit the talents she knew there? He slowed and looked back the way he had come. Indecision played in his mind for a moment. He shook his head. He needed to make his choice and stick with it until proven wrong. He sprinted for the gate. He called again, Cornelia! He caught up to her at the great doors of the college gate. Cornelia, wait, please. She turned, still dazed. Please, he said again, and then stopped to catch his breath. She waited. Look, He looked into her face and saw suddenly a terrible fragility. I said things wrong. He closed his eyes. He was a fool, and everyone on the street was watching him make a fool of himself. But he had made a choice. He needed to stick with it. He opened his eyes once more and looked on her sorrow, on her fear, and her pain. He had hurt her, speaking foolishly without thought. And the truth was the only thing that would set that right. The truth that frightened him. He took a breath and said, Look, Cornelia, I love you. I do. Back there, I did not mean, please don't go, not like this. He took her hand. I don't know what I can do, but if there is something, I will do it. Just don't cry. Please. She startled and then looked down at her feet, not seeing them. I've been a fool. I can't keep anybody safe. I want you to be safe, and I can't. I love you. Oh, no. She met his eyes with a look of terror. I love you. He took a deep, shuddering breath, and glancing at the people around him, he said, Walk with me? He took the first tentative steps towards her house. He continued, I'm supposed to be good with words, but I'm not. I didn't mean to hurt you. He looked at her in surprise. Wait, you love me? For real? She nodded and matched his slow gait, staring at the ground. Would you forgive me? I said, I don't remember exactly what I said. But I said it wrong. Please forgive me. Yes, of course, I didn't know what was happening. Neither did I. But you love me? She nodded again, this time with a growing smile. They walked slowly, hand in hand. Do you think I should talk to your father? Gregory blushed in confusion. I mean, about your uncle, or do you really have to go? Cornelia shook her head, her smile clouding over. It wouldn't do any good. It's my fault. Besides, you agree with him. No, not about you leaving. He took a long, resigned breath. How long will you be gone? She sighed. I don't know. Probably until Uncle is arrested. That could be a while. I hope it's a while. Oh, but I hope it's not. I can't stay there. There's no church. It's awfully lonely. I didn't used to mind, but now... She held his hand a little tighter. I'm afraid Father won't ever listen to me again. I've done so much damage. You can't imagine everything I've tried to tell him. She shook her head. When's your train? Tomorrow, early. Can I at least walk you to the station? I'd like that. They walked on. At length they reached Cornelia's house. She looked up at the building with a shudder. Let's keep walking. I'll just step in and wash my face. The door closed behind her, and Gregory sat down on the steps to wait. Immediately the door opened again. Cornelia looked down at him. Wait, you love me? Next time we'll be doing a romantic poem, while two children run through, juggling toys.
On fire.
And waving fireworks. While the dishwasher. And there's a fire in the kitchen.
Yes.